to the second left.
You are now tuned into the greatest sports show on the planet. That's Prince, and he's Barty. And you're now listening to Prince and Barty. Buckle up.
Welcome back to Prince and Barty, episode 112. How you doing, big dog?
Hey, man, it's time for the play-in. I'm excited for NBA basketball.
Yeah, man. We're going to do things a little different this show, man. I know we talk about multiple sports, but we're going to keep it all the way NBA today, man. Some great NBA bracket set, play-in set. I know by the time y'all hear this, I think the games start on Tuesday. We're going to get into the play-in games. We might have to give y'all more podcasts throughout the playoffs, but let's kick it off, man.
Holding court with Prince. Our resident NBA guru, Prince, dives into all things basketball.
Cade's into a three. Got it!
Over the weekend, we posted a Kevin Durant question on the Prince and Barty Reddit that has been going viral. As it stands right now, we had 193,000 views. Salute to the whole NBA Talk Reddit community. Thanks for the love. So basically, we said, does this affect KD's legacy at all? And the graphic says second round exit in 2021, swept first round 2022, 2023 second round exit, 2024 swept in first round, and 2025 they will not make the playoffs at all. So as a bronzexual, I know the talk early was KD and Bron. Well, we know that obviously Bron has surpassed KD in multiple ways, but I've always been holding that KD flag high, but it is what it is. I can't make any more excuses for the Slim Reaper anymore, man. So the floor is yours. How do you feel about Kevin Durant and his legacy and kind of what he's become now? Because it's like, yes, he's averaging 27 playing at a high level at his age and stage, but it's not contributing to win. So what do you make of Kevin Durant and what's been going on?
Remember when Wade had that one show where he talked about there's certain people who are on a certain floor, and he says that he didn't have access, but Stephen A. said he had access. That's how I view it. We look at, I know you do it more along the lines of, positions. So your first five is point guard, small forward, shooting guard, power forward, and center. I think that he has gone from, if we're doing all time, the top two all time, like he would make the bench. He's not on the bench anymore. He's on the third. I think he has stood at the door of top 15. He's a top 15 player all time. I don't think he passes that. When I look at D Wade, he passes that. When I look at Kobe, he passes that. You can argue that Kobe can be a starting two guard in the history of the game. You can argue that Wade is borderline starting two guard. But you can't argue that I can take about four forwards above Kevin Durant.
Let's go through Kevin Durant. Let's go. You see that? You see, Katie, he disrespecting your name. He calling you Garnett. But let's go through. I'm gonna just name some forwards, and you tell me if you have Durant over them, right?
Okay.
All right. Let's play this game. Dr. J.
He's over Dr. J.
Okay. Scottie Pippen.
No.
Kawhi Leonard.
They neck and neck. They look at each other eye and eye.
Okay.
They look at each other.
Okay.
They're eye and eye with each other.
Paul Pierce.
He's got Paul Pierce.
Okay. Let's get to it. Larry Bird.
Nah. I think I at first I used to have him over Larry, but no, not anymore.
So definitively you got Pippen and Larry Bird. So in your order, so I'm not going to speak for you, but your order would be obviously Bron, Larry Bird, Pippen, Kawhi Leonard, Durant. That's like your next tier.
Yeah, pretty much. They're right with each other. And before, I would say he could argue that it's LeBron, KD. Now I can't have a conversation. I can't.
I, you know what? For me, man, it's an interesting conversation because I don't think we've ever seen it. Because you can't say he's losing because of lack of talent, lack of skill, right? But what doesn't help him is a LeBron bringing that Cleveland team to the finals. You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, on one hand, you could be like, okay, Brooklyn, Kyrie, COVID, James Harden was hurt. You can kind of give Bell money to certain things, but how do you not win one game against Minnesota last year in the playoffs? It's like, it's one game? That's like you could go for 50-something and win one game. And a gentleman's sweep.
LeBron has had 4 stack squads. KG's had 5. And he has 2 rings. That's my statement. LeBron's had 4 stack squads. Count Miami as a stack squad. Count Cleveland as a stack squad. And you count this team that he's had with the Lakers. With Luka as
Oh,
a stack.
okay.
Now I wouldn't count AD as a stack squad because it's just him and AD. So he's had 3. Now let's go KD. He had Ibaka. The squad with Ibaka, Westbrook, and Harden. That's 1. Then he had the stack squad in Golden State. Then he had the stack squad in New Jersey, in Brooklyn. Then he has a stack squad in Phoenix. And the only time he's won a championship is Steph Curry. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good for his legacy.
And what's also crazy is 2 years prior, the Phoenix Suns was in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, before he got there.
With a lesser team. So that's what it's like. He's almost like a hired gun now, where you need like some, like he's last of the Sicario, man. I know that's one of your good favorite movies. So you just hire him when you need points. Like his production don't necessarily lead to wins. And I'm a massive KD fan, but I can't really vouch for him no more with that.
Hey, I'm gonna play a game with you real quick, and I'm just gonna give you 3 scenarios. There's a junior to every great. Okay, Michael's junior was Kobe. Magic's junior was LeBron. LeBron even have his own junior. His name is Luka. Right? You want to know who KD is the junior to? He's George Gervin Jr. He can score with the best of them.
Score, pretty game.
Pretty game, everything you want to see. He's the Iceman. He's a tarantula. But at the end of the day, the buck is never done. The buck never comes due with him. It's just if you take those years of Golden State out of his career, this is what he's going to be. He is the same thing as we look at Carmelo Anthony, a great, great dominant scorer that the game will always remember. But as far as a winner, it's not proof.
Prince and Barty is your #1 source for all things sports. Now streaming on Spotify and iTunes.
There it is, man. Y'all definitely tap into the comments. Hit us on our social media and let us know, man. This KD conversation is so layered, man. But let's get right into the plan. We just had to touch on that because Reddit been going crazy. Everything, the barbershop, everybody just wanted to have that conversation. So glad we brought that to you. But let's talk this play-in, man. So let's start with the West. So the West playing 8 versus 7. We got Grizzlies and Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And then 10-9, we got Mavericks versus the Kings. Now, let's start with this Memphis Warriors situation. Obviously, they had a tough loss this weekend. Harden turned to 2018, Houston Harden, killed them. Kawhi did their thing. I've been saying Clippers is my dark horse. I said that probably since the beginning of the season, right? Beginning of the season, they was projected bottom of the West, ended up finishing fifth when they went over the Warriors. Ja been up and down. They were at the highest at number 3 at one point, and then obviously injuries and things of that nature. You fired a coach. But looking at this matchup, man, what are you looking for? And we'll see how Jimmy's going to be because Jimmy got nicked up this game. You know, with Kawhi Leonard need him in the thigh or whatever the I don't know the official injury, but when you look at this Grizzlies Warriors matchup, is it a pick 'em? Like, what do you see with this?
You never bet against the chef. You never bet against the chef. Ja Morant is a beast. We know what Ja Morant can do. Bane is better than Potowski. You look at all the pieces that they have. It's going to be a good series, but you just never bet against the chef. And I actually like it. The reason why I like it, Prince, it comes from this perspective. Look at it this perspective. If Golden State wins and we get the first round we want to see, the young boys in Houston going up against Golden State Warriors, there's two storylines we got to look at. And I know we should save it for when we get there, but we got to look at the storyline. Steph eliminate Ume Udoka.
Oh yeah. They was going at it the other night.
Now you have to come back and see this man with athletic people who can stand in front of Steph. And you got Sanguine in the middle, in the paint. We saw tonight what Ibaka did. I'll be honest with you. The thing that I was impressed with the most from what I've seen today was, listen, the Lakers got to be as good as they are at picking people up, they're even worse than letting people go. Oh my God, Zubac is crazy.
Bro.
Zubac is I just every time I scratch my head.
I told you, bro. Listen, he is the new Clint Capella. Like I told you, Harden makes $100 million centers. It's the James Harden effect, man. I'm telling you, when Harden get with you in that screen and roll, Zubac is a monster, man.
I
But
don't want to see the Clippers.
no, yeah, no, we've been saying that. But no, I agree with you, man. You can't bet against Curry. But my only concern if they get past Memphis is that Thompson boy is a beast, man. You know, I think he gonna be one of the most. He gonna be the new Kawhi Leonard-ish type player, the new Jimmy Butler type player, where they're all world defenders, and the offensive game is gonna slowly come. Because you remember Jimmy Butler when he first was with Chicago, it was all about D Rose. Over the years, Jimmy Butler worked on his game, worked on his game, worked on his game. Kawhi Leonard, all defender, worked on his game. And I think the Thompson brothers, man, they're like them raptors from Jurassic Park. Remember them two raptors in Jurassic Park 1 where they just outsmart, they can communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Like the athleticism is top tier, man. And Ime Udoka, man, he's an aggressive cat. You saw what he did in Boston, and here he is again. You know, he doesn't give enough credit. Everybody's worried about the whole Nia Long saga, but the man could coach his ass off, man, and that's undeniable. You know, the Rockets in the playoffs for their first time since 2020, since the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to give him credit. I don't know. As far as Memphis goes, I don't believe in it, man. You know, they fired Taylor Jenkins. I think a lot of that was, you know, Ja's numbers was down. And Ja want to be Ja. Ja want to do the gritty. But the thing about Ja is sometimes when Ja's getting 30 to 40, they ain't winning. It's not when they was running his offense, they had him at number 2 at the highest, number 3 with Taylor Jenkins' offense. So I don't know. Triple J, they got to pay him about 300 something million. He not worth that bread. I think Memphis is gonna have to they're gonna end up trading Ja, man, or rebuilding. I just feel like they peaked. You know, this might sound crazy. Once they got rid of Dylan Brooks, it kind of shifted because they don't really have no dog. You know, Triple J is a cool defender, but who's the enforcer on the Grizzlies? Ja throwing grenades?
I don't see Memphis getting out of the play-in, honestly. I don't even think that they're gonna get that last spot. I think the 8th spot is gonna be one between Sacramento and don't be surprised if Sacramento might get in and Sabonis has one of his greatest games ever. Watch a first round with the AC being Sacramento, and of course the first seed. I think that Houston's gonna kill they're going to kill Golden State in the first round. The one matchup that kind of throws me off is I think Minnesota's going to give us a good series.
Oh, for
But
sure.
but I also think this though: who's going to guard Braun?
And that's the thing. So, but hold on, we're gonna get into that. 2 seconds. I don't think AD gonna do anything, man. Like, okay, with AD, I think when we played Dallas, AD was exposed, and that's what I mean by that, right? So, AD, if you know AD's history, he had a growth spurt in high school. He was a point guard his whole life. That's why he's able to handle the ball a little bit and do guard-like things. But the problem with AD is for AD to operate, somebody else has to get him the ball, right? So that's why he could play as good as a Joker, as good as a Giannis, but they don't need nobody to get them the ball. They could bring it up, take somebody off the dribble. AD looks like Bambi on skates when he tried to take somebody off the dribble. So where Luka did him dirty, one-on-one step back on him, AD can't just take the game over because somebody has to pass him the ball to do it. You know what I mean? So I agree with you, man. I think Sacramento takes that. I think DeRozan and Zach LaVine have found their stride. I think Monk will be back. Low key, Sacramento got pieces. They got guys that could go get a bucket whenever they want. It's a matter of everything clicking at the right time, for sure. For sure. But we'll stay in the play-in, man. Let's go to the East. You know, you got the Bulls and the Heat, 9-10 matchup. And then you got 7-8 with Orlando versus the Hawks. Now, let's start with Orlando and the Hawks. You know, Banchero is my guy. You know, Barty said that's how my son gonna look when he get older, according to Barty. So I think in a series, Banchero could get his bucket on anybody. He could go crazy. You know, we know what Wagner could do. You know, Greg Anthony's son, man, Cole Anthony is playing some good ball in Orlando. He definitely found a church home out in Orlando. But your boy Trey, man, ice Trey the game. You know, Trey gonna get you at least 2 wins. He gonna have some 20 assist games. You know, I feel like Trey is always playing with house money this time of year. So in any given game, Trey could do his Trey thing, get you a 30 and 20 game. So looking at this matchup with the Magic and the Hawks, what are you looking for?
I think the standings are going to stay the same. I think the Magic's is going to win the 7th seed. When you look at Suggs, Banchero, the Wagner brothers, you know, they have a squad. And I don't think that Atlanta is built athletically to play them. But I think that they match up better with the Miami Heat. So I think that what we will have is the 7th seed will be the 7th seed and the 8th seed will be the 8th seed. I don't think those teams in the bottom have a shot to beat them, even though we have some good players at the 9th and 10th spot. The 9th and 10th spot, we have Chicago and Miami. But even then, I think Miami will beat Chicago, but then they have to play Atlanta at home. And I think Atlanta will eliminate Miami Heat. Miami Heat, they don't have a star other than Hero. Hero is a good, but you're trying to play a 3-point game with Trey. That you don't want to do that in Atlanta. So I like the Hawks get the 8th spot. I like the Magic to get the 7th spot. But of course, I think that the worst thing about this situation is you send them to the graveyard because I don't think none of them can beat the top 2. None of them. At least you give Steph a puncher's chance versus you. But whoever wins, they have no shot versus Cleveland. So Cleveland Celtics is on a collision course for these.
No, I agree, man. Let's get into the meat of the playoffs, man. So you brought it up. Obviously, let's go through it. You got the Nuggets playing the Clippers. You have the Pacers playing the Bucks. Lakers, Minnesota, obviously. Then you got Knicks, Pistons. And obviously Houston's waiting on winners, Boston's waiting on winners, OKC's waiting, Cleveland's waiting, right? So the number 1 and 2 seeds are waiting. So just looking at this playoff picture, the Detroit and the Knicks interest me. Because the Knicks could mess around and lose first round.
I got the Pistons winning that series. And I'm not even saying Brunson's a shell of himself. I watched him play the other day, and Jalen Brunson doesn't even look like he's the same Brunson from his injury. He doesn't have the same left to right motion that he normally has when he does his moves. I just don't like the Knicks at all in that series. And then we're talking about Cade Cunningham.
Ooh.
Cade Cunningham, they sleeping on Cade. And keep sleeping. He gonna make a believer out of you in this playoff series.
Bro, his quote, he said he want to be the best player in the world one day. So that's the mindset that Cade has. You know what I mean? So I think with Cade too, you know, he remind me of, man, you know, Cade about 6'6", 6'7" point guard. He's a new age Brandon Roy. I think he has that just intangible of he gonna do what he said he gonna do. You know, he's just a determined dude. He kind of has that Dame Lillard in him too, man, where it's just kind of that quiet killer where like they've been slept on probably their whole life. They've been doubted. You know, I think Detroit is the perfect place for Cade because he's just gonna become a hero in that city, man. And Detroit needs a premier player. They haven't had a premier player. They had teams, obviously, the Rip days, the Chauncey days, the Sheed, but they never had like that player. What, since Grant Hill and Stackhouse?
Mm-hmm.
Like where like one guy, like a gunner, you know, Allen Houston back in the day, but they haven't had a premier wing guard, you know, in a long, long time, man. So
he is a Laker maniac, and he is the Archbishop of the Bronze Sexuals. Welcome back to Prince and Barty.
But let's go through it, man. So what are you looking at in this Minnesota Lakers series?
I think we're gonna have some problems. This is the one series where I think AR is not gonna really matter that much. And I'm not saying he won't have a good series, he will, but because he's going up against Ant, that's gonna be an issue.
And Jaden Daniels is they got length.
They got length, and so that's why I think we're gonna see a scoring letdown from AR this series, maybe 15 instead of 20. I think we need a big series from Bron. I wonder what the injury is going to be like. But we know what Luka does versus Minnesota. We've watched. It's something about playing against. It's two teams that Luka just. I don't know what it is when he plays these teams. He just be like, I'm gonna go off versus these cats because I like to play. And one of those teams is Minnesota. Minnesota is one of those teams. He always has it. Minnesota and OKC. I guess because they say Ant is the next Jordan, and they say Shea is the next thing. Luka shows them cats, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Every time he plays, he says, I'm better than you.
He kills Devin Booker. He kills the Suns too. He loves the Suns.
Oh, you know he loves the Suns. The Suns.
No, I'm with you, man. I think Luka's gonna be Luka. I agree. I think in the past when we played Minnesota, AR has problems with because remember AR is about 6'6". AR is a bigger guard as well. But I think Anthony Edwards is so explosive and physical that sometimes AR might get in foul trouble. They'll probably throw Rory on him, Vando, obviously Dorian Finney-Smith. But I think Bron is the factor because Bron is going to play small ball center. So now that means you got a Naz Reid and Bron going head to head. So Naz Reid is more of a perimeter guy. So the lane's going to be kind of wide open. That's my fear, where it's just going to be the lane. So Anthony Edwards is going to get a lot of dunks. I think Rudy Gobert is going to be unplayable, especially if I don't even think Jackson Hayes is going to get a lot of tick this series because we really don't need him.
I think the key player for the series is Julius Randle. What Julius Randle?
Yeah.
If Julius Randle comes out and plays like Julius Randle from the Knicks, then Minnesota has a chance to beat the Lakers. But if not, then I got and I know what Shannon probably gonna say Lakers in 5, but I say Lakers in 6. I got the Lakers in 6. I think Ant's gonna get 2 games because we don't have enough defense. We're gonna go 6 games.
Who do you like in the the Clippers in Denver? There's reports that came out with Mike Malone. Obviously, that firing last week shocked the NBA world. But Mike Malone, they said he wasn't happy, man. They said he was screaming and cussing. But it's wild to fire a coach that close to the playoffs, especially when the chemistry been off and things of that nature. But we've been saying it all year. James Harden is on his payback tour. Kawhi Leonard is healthy. We always say, man, a healthy Kawhi Leonard, he's actually healthy. Norm Powell should have been an all-star, but LeBron did what LeBron did. So looking at them Clippers team, Zubac, like you mentioned, everybody's clicking on all levels. Ty Lue, arguably my favorite coach in the world, man. Him and Eric Spoelstra, and JJ's up there too now. But I'm not gonna lie, I want to see what Joker does. And this might sound crazy. He's probably the MVP and putting up numbers, but now it's Joker got a pass because it's Joker. He not from here. He don't want to be in media. But now it's like you're back against the wall. People counting you out. Mike Malone winning as coach in Denver history. Now what? They saying Russ brought the bad luck to your team. So now we got to see what Joker's made of. Can he win a series by himself? We know he could win games. He could pad the stat sheet. I want Joker to turn into what Braun turned into against the Celtics. I don't think we've seen, this might sound crazy, I don't think we've seen killer Joker yet. I think there's another level of, y'all just can't guard me. I'm going to get 4 wins, whether Jamal Murray play good, whether Aaron Gordon play good. I think Joker just got to have one of them games, to be honest, for them to even have a chance. Because I think James Harden going to souffle up Jamal Murray because just on some he's going to be in foul trouble, in my opinion. And then Gordon, who's guarding Kawhi. I think the Clippers have a lot of matchup problems, provide a lot of matchup problems for Denver. But when you're looking at this series, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, are you afraid of these guys in a long series? Is Westbrook going to be too emotional trying to beat his own team? Where do you look at it?
Remember back in the day, the Clippers had problems with the Nuggets in that series when they played them. They played each other. The Clippers played the Nuggets. They had problems with them. And remember, they had problems with them again when they had the Lakers. When I look at this situation, it's a different Clippers team, and I really don't care about the Joker, man. I don't care about the Joker. I don't care about anything that's going on in that series. But when I look at the series, all I can say is I'm not trying to be Shannon Sharp. Clippers in 5. Clippers in 5. I got the Clippers in 5. They have issues.
A nice gentleman suite.
Let the Joker get his, but everybody else is going to get theirs. And when you look at the situation, Joker's going to have to play because Harden's going to be driving to the ball, doing what Joker likes to do. He's going to be throwing alleys that
controlling the pace.
Control the pace of the game. So when you look at that, I think Denver's going to get out in the first round. I think Golden State's going to get out in the first round. I think we're going to have the Clippers, the Lakers, the OKC Thunder, and probably in Houston. In Houston, that'll be the final 4 in the Western Conference, and then we'll probably either see OKC and depending on what Clippers team we have, keep sleeping. It's going to be a subway series to LA versus LA in the
That's
final.
what I'm saying. Clippers can mess around and sneak their way to the final, just through the back door.
Yeah, right to the conference finals.
Right to the conference finals. So I'm with you, man. And I think as far as the Bucks Pacers, I think Giannis is single-handedly going to try to beat them boys. I think Giannis is going to be in beast mode this playoff run. Hopefully he could stay out of injury. They're going to have Bobby Portis back. Bro, Bobby Portis been playing 25 games. So he gonna be hungry. They felt like I'm sure he feels like they did him wrong with the whole the medication he took that was a legal substance. So I think Bobby Portis is gonna come back full. I think Dame. I think they're hearing good things that Dame may come back by at least some games in the playoffs. You know, a lot of good people. Porter Jr. is playing well. Kuzma's been a good addition. I think the Bucks got a resurgence at the right time. And any team you got Giannis. Giannis is probably the best player on the court 90% of the time, anybody he plays. So there's not going to be anybody in the East that's better than Giannis per se on the court on any team. So with him, you got a fighter's chance.
That's true.
It's just a matter of everybody else hitting threes, and you know Boston is Boston. They're gonna kill you with threes. So we'll see what Giannis does, man. But I'm excited with these playoffs, bro. Like this is gonna be competitive. It's funny when the whole playing started and the end season tournament, everybody laughed. But now you need it because shit, Lakers last couple of years, well, prior to Luka, obviously, that playing helped us get to the Western Conference Finals.
That's true.
So it can help certain teams.
But you know what's funny? I laugh so much because people like to say LeBron always blames his teammates. But when we really look at it, your AD's on the playing team, and LeBron has Luka in the third seed. Now, mind you, of course, Luka is a much better player, but we look at it now, our best players in the NBA are overseas players. Jokic and Luka, probably 1 and 2, if you want to argue. And Shea's overseas as well for Canada. So Shea you can throw him in there. But when you look at our best American player, Anthony Edwards, and our best foreign player, I think I don't know what it is, but Jordan, Kobe, LeBron turning in their grave when they look up. Tatum keeps killing it, but Tatum is still wishy-washy. He's up and down. If he didn't have Jalen Brown, we would have a totally different argument about Jason Tatum.
And I think it's funny. I was going to say Tatum, obviously, but I think what Tatum's the victim of being a great player with an even greater team, right? So Drew Holiday and Derek White alone are probably top. They're both going to make All NBA first and second team defensively. So it's hard. So nobody's looking at you like you're leading this team. It's about threes. If y'all hit all y'all threes, y'all going to be hoisting up another trophy. And nobody's going to be like Jason Tatum led this team. And sometimes you're a victim of I mean, hey, listen, if I'm a two-time champ, I don't care what nobody says how we got there. But I think that's why we look at Minnesota. We know that's Ant team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no doubt, you know, Julius Randle could ball out, Gobert, whoever. You know that's Ant Edwards' team. You know that's Shea team. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Jason Tatum just falling into that role of you just on a team where you're just going to get overlooked because, I mean, that's a great problem to have. You're just not going to be in them GOAT barbershop discussions.
Hey, I want to switch gears real quick before we close out. We're looking at all of the top scorers, rebounders, assisters, and you know we got to show love to Walker Kessler, with leading the league in blocks, and Dyson Daniels leading the league in steals.
For sure.
With both of those guys, who would you think has a better odds-on chance of at least? Because you know the people are saying Draymond might win Player of the Year. Who would you think is a person you want to argue to say that they should be a defensive player of the year?
I'm not gonna lie, what Dyson Daniels is doing is just insane. Like here's the thing. Remember when Iverson was playing? He was playing passing lane, so he's pretty much jumping and anticipating, like an Asante Samuels, right? You're jumping the routes, anticipating. Dyson Daniels is ripping cats, like mano a mano. He's just taking the ball. He's getting back taps. He's guarding people head up. So if Dyson Daniels was just getting deflections, Shea be top 3 every year with that. Dyson Daniels is like, bro, he has like the most steals, the most 200 up to 200 something steals, bro. It's like you've never even seen it before from like a Scottie Pippen before, as far as on the ball, some of the greats. So I don't think he will get it just off of name. Kessler's having a great year as well, but I don't think they have the name. And now they're in a weird position now because Wemby been not playing for what 2-3 months, and he's still leading the league in blocks by a landslide. So that's how a dynamic Wemby was. This is Wemby's award. So now you got Draymond in the discussion, you got Triple J in the discussion, but Triple J about to play in the play-in. So your defense wasn't that effective, right? And Draymond about to be in the play-in. So
I mean, all three of them, because I mean, Dyson's in the plan too.
yeah. So I think so your defense wasn't really leading to. Now, if Draymond would have won and they would have like gotten the playoffs clean, then I think you would have an argument. But think about it. It's almost like, and that's why, not to make it about Dion. It's funny. I'll talk about Dion all day. You already know. But that's the impact of you can never tell me Dion's not the greatest, because to win a Defensive Player of the Year award at cornerback, like, think about that. Like, so we know the DNs, we know the greats of the game. For a corner to win that prestigious award, it's unprecedented. So I look at the same way for Draymond got it once. Kawhi Leonard got it once or twice, I think Kawhi has it. So when you have those kind of wing players winning Defensive Player of the Year, when Jordan won it, that's rare, man. So
I'm gonna tell you this though: if I had a vote for MVP, I'm voting Joker, and I'm still gonna, and there's no disrespect to Shea. The only reason why I'm still voting Joker is because Joker's number 3 in scoring, number 2 in assists, he's number 2 in rebounds, and he's number 2 in steals. You understand that's ridiculous.
that's all-time great. That's not
ridiculous.
That's all-time great.
That's ridiculous. So I mean, he deserves it. And if he gets his 4th MVP, even if he doesn't win a championship, if he gets his 4th MVP, he I gave you my list. He'll jump into the top 3 centers all time. Remember, I had him like 4 or 5. If he gets his 4th MVP, he's the 3rd greatest center.
How could you not, bro? Like not you, but you can't hate against something you've never seen before, bro. Like he doesn't have, like I said on the pod, like Wilt had the advantages. Wilt ran track. Wilt was a high jumper, a sprinter. Wilt Chamberlain was one of the greatest athletes ever. So what Joker's doing, man, it's to be non-athletic and to lose the weight and what he's doing, you got to tip your hat to that, man. There's no way around it. But this episode 112, like, we're gonna be watching these playoffs close. We got to give y'all all NBA, man. Don't fret. We got the draft coming up. NFL heads, we're gonna feed y'all. MLB heads, we're gonna feed you. Salute to Boots Ennis. We got people in Philly. I know they're really happy about Boots getting that win. The streets want that Crawford Ennis fight, looking like more and more like it now. It's coming. Ennis is really making a name for himself. Incredible fighter. And we'll definitely talk. We'll talk more boxing coming up too. But salute to Boots Ennis, the whole camp, the whole Philly. Tyrese Maxey walked him out of the fight, so kept it all Philly. But we'll get more into that, man. So tune in, follow us on Reddit, TikTok, social media, everywhere, YouTube. Continue to support, man. People on Apple, Android, Amazon Music. We appreciate you. Spotify, of course, man. Continue to tap in and hit us up with the topics, man. Appreciate
Check
y'all.
us out. Prince and Barty.
Yes, sir. Episode 112 in the can. See y'all next time.
Prince and Barty is your #1 source for all things sports. Now streaming on Spotify and iTunes. Prince and Barty will be doing live broadcast at several locations around the country. Follow and like all Prince and Barty's social media pages for exclusive details. There will be game tournaments, sport trivia, best fan contest, and cash giveaways all night. This can be your chance to win big.